Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing. This is not about an unexplained phenomena. It's easily explained, but It's part of the unexplained series that I do on like UFOs and unexplained things and mysterious disappearances, alien abductions, that kind of thing. This is on hoaxers, and this may be a bit of a rant. I want to apologize up front for it. But it really irritated me this week, and I felt I needed to say something because people who are into the paranormal and things like that, the stuff the videos that I put out like this, you got to be aware of this. All right, this is not a. Let me get into it. The stories and information I present here are corroborated as best as I can by documented evidence, multiple eyewitnesses, and or physical evidence. I make it a point to go that extra mile to verify the stories before I write up videos to present to you. YouTube is, or at least used to be, a great source of these stories, which I could then verify and research with alternate sources before I did my own videos on whatever subject it was. Herein lies the rub. Lately, it seems that YouTube contains more and more videos which claim to be true that are all complete horse shit. Absolute horse shit. Luckily, there are a lot of other sources for these UAP, UFO, unexplained, and paranormal stories. So I have a wealth of avenues to explore. What I would do is I would go to YouTube and I would find stories that were interesting, and then I would go and find proof, different sources to corroborate the stories, and then I would make the videos. There are a lot of other sources for these stories, so there's a wealth of different avenues for me to explore. But after my no shit fifth bullshit story on YouTube just this week, I started deleting subscriptions. I can't afford to be sued, so I'm not going to mention channel names, but just be aware that there are channels on YouTube who are presenting stories that are not based in fact. They don't tell you out front that they're fiction. They don't say, hey, check out this wonderful story I just wrote. The books I write are fiction. Okay? There's one chapter at the end of The Righteous President that I tell stuff that actually did happen, and I cite sources and things, so it's there. Okay, all you gotta do is pay attention to Congress. But the rest of the stuff there is absolute fiction. I write good stories. They're entertainment. That's all there is. The stories that I put on here, I try to be as factual as possible. I don't do conspiracy theories. I do conspiracy proven. I talk about gaming stories that happen to me or that I know of, and I give advice to younger gamers, tabletop role-playing games, not video games. But again, after my no shit fifth bullshit story on YouTube this week, I started deleting subscriptions. This may not be news to you about the YouTube stories being bullshit, but some of them are real. Don't get me wrong. There's still a lot of good stuff on YouTube, but a lot of them are not. This may not be news to you, but to many people out there, it will be a revelation. I did not take these YouTube videos at face value, mind you, but they did point me in the right direction of some of the stories I then researched. So I would find a story and then go find out if it was real and then do my own research. That's what that was for. As for other sources, just this week alone, I found 8 very interesting stories on cryptids, UFOs, UAPs, unexplained artifacts, or UPARTs as they're called, and one mysterious disappearance. Turns out not one of those 8 stories from magazines, books, and online sources were real. At least not that I can verify. There were no public records to corroborate any of them, and in one case it seems a witness was literally fabricated out of thin air. So again, I'm not going to mention the publications or sources because I cannot afford a lawsuit. However, just like the old adage says, don't believe everything you read. The gist of this video is to point out that there are people in the world who are trying to do real research on very real phenomena, much of which can be considered paranormal or fringe science. I'm talking about cryptids, UFOs, UAPs, aliens, time travel, extra-dimensional stuff, and the like. The people who put out these fake stories, or hoaxers, if you will, are not only making it hard for those very real researchers, but are spreading false information which is confusing the public. Used to be people would run around in the woods with the fake Bigfoot feet. Those were the hoaxers. But now, using AI and other software, you can create a fake video of anything. I talked about this in a number of UFO videos where, used to be photos and videos were pretty convincing, but now you could make a video or a video of a UFO hovering over your hometown police station, and it's pretty damn realistic. But it's, of course, fake. It's all fabricated. Special effects, if you will. I don't know what the legalities of hoaxing are. I really don't. But it should be punishable by law. That's my opinion. At the very least, there should be an announcement at the beginning of any story saying whether or not it's fiction. Kind of like the news used to have to do with editorials. That's all I'm saying. I'm not asking you to stop making these stories, because a lot of them are entertaining. But just let us know it's entertainment. Don't send us on down a rabbit hole of research if there's not going to be any merit in it. That's all I'm saying. If you enjoy my content, it would really help me out if you could hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share my content on all of your social media platforms, and post a comment or two. Remember, I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. And check me out over on Rumble for my political commentary and weekly current events. If you enjoy a good book, check out my author page on Amazon.com. My pen name is H.L. Anderson. You can find all of my books there, including the one I talked about, The Righteous President. It's a political fantasy about what could or would happen if we elected somebody who tried to fix things. That's the political fantasy, because it rarely happens. We have Donald Trump in there now, and he's doing a really good job. But he could do more, provided the deep state would get the hell out of the way. That being said, the last chapter of The Righteous President is a postscript as to why I wrote the book, and it is all real. There's everything in the back of that book that I cite, so-and-so said and so-and-so did. It's all real. So, there you go. I don't claim to write truthful stuff unless I actually say it. Okay? Most of my stuff is fiction. So, there you go. The stories that I report on here, I try to validate them as best I can. And the only reason I was using YouTube was it pointed me in the right direction of stories that were interesting so that I could find, corroboration. But when they're writing stories and they're really good stories and it's stuff that you'd be interested in, and then you find out it's all fake, after a while that gets old. That's all I'm saying. I hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all.